Caribbean High Court strikes down ban on abominable crime of buggery. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court for Saint Kitts and Nevis has struck down a colonial-era law that banned the abominable crime of buggery. The Caribbean Court struck down 2 offending sections of the Act on August 29th. This means that consensual same-sex intercourse between adults in private is no longer illegal on the island nation. The Offenses Against the Person Act criminalized unnatural offenses and carried a maximum penalty of 10 years with hard labor. Judge Trevor Ward wrote in the decision, quote, "The absolute nature of the prohibition created by sections 56 and 57 are not reasonably justified in a democratic society in circumstances where they prescribe sexual acts between consenting adults in private, which involve no element of public conduct or harm to or sexual acts with minors. To the extent that it criminalizes the private lives of gay persons in this year, the law is excessive and arbitrary," end quote. The court's verdict was effective immediately. The executive director of the Eastern Caribbean Alliance for Diversity and Equality, Kanita Paside, said, quote, "This is a transformative journey and a step to full recognition of LGBTQ persons across the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States," end quote. She was supported by the executive director of global LGBTQ rights group Outright Action International, Maria Sjordan, who commented, quote, "We are in awe by the strategic persistence of activists in the region who are leading the charge to ensure the advancement of human rights to overturn discriminatory, outdated laws like this one. Hopefully the remaining countries in the region and beyond will follow," end quote. This is the latest development in a string of groundbreaking legislation in the Caribbean. The same court overturned sodomy laws in Antigua and Barbuda this summer, also making headway and leeway in the neighboring island of Barbados, which formally became a republic in 2021, and whose prime minister publicly committed to advancing LGBTQ+ rights. Wow, this is an amazing turn. I mean, in a very short amount of time when you really think about it. I mean, this is kind of unrelated, but many, many years ago, I went to Barbados. I worked on a cruise ship, singing and dancing.
And what a surprise, Dale.
You know, it was a while back, but one of the most fabulous bars I ever been to was in Barbados. And every time we got off the ship, we like ran to that bar. So, I mean, of course, there's been a gay life there, LGBTQ life there for a long time, you know, back in the 1800s.
All you had to do was step on the island and it became gay.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Al. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a great turn of events.
It is.
I can't believe laws like this are still on the books. So literally your neighbor can say, hey, Josie's there having sex with 3 really hot girls. And the cops could, and the cops could come and like just arrest her? Like, is that?
For sure.
Just like that.
And just like that. And under the old colonial law, this is a colonial period law that exists for 180 years since the slavery days of the 18th century. And so, yes, absolutely. And one of the interesting things about it, which is what you're saying, it's not you having sex with 2 other women. It's buggery. You're having buggery. I love the word buggery.
Right?
I do. And I think everywhere in the English-speaking colonial world, because it's a colonial word to repress. Buggery is negative. I'm repressing you by using the word buggery. And just like what we do at Queer, we should adopt buggery. Yes, of course. Right. We love buggery.
Buggery.
Buggery, exactly.
That's
you know, one other thought that I think is interesting is this Caribbean court is so clear in its ruling. It is so incredible. There's no vagueness here.
Right.
Nope.
This is 2022 is what the court says. And it's interesting because they, in a way, reach out and say, this is 2022, not 1874. And this Caribbean court says something that the governors of Texas and Florida can't say.
Wow.
Like
Isn't that
they're going
incredible?
forward and we're going backwards.
Exactly. And also, the reason why this is so important, we have so many friends from the Caribbean. Josie has roots in the, the entire Latin community has roots in the Caribbean. This is a big deal because you grow up as little brown child in Barbuda and you feel less than right from the very beginning. This helps to change attitudes throughout the Caribbean, and they're only, remember, just a bit of a step ahead of Western Africa, which is even worse than the Caribbean. Africa is only a couple of steps ahead of the Muslim countries in the Middle East. So the Caribbean finally, we're seeing some light of day for some real progressive thinking. It's absolutely fantastic.
And if people don't like it, they can just bugger off.
That's it. Bugger.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.